Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Sunday the 11th of July 2021. Today's Millwall news, I'm going to do a stats video. It's Stats Sunday of pre-season, but it's not related to yesterday's Motherwell game. Still no highlights from that game yet. Maybe they'll come out. We don't know. If they do, I'll let you know. I'll put a link up. But no, the stats I'm going to bring you is this. So Experimental 361, he's been cracking on over the summer. He's done a few things which I'm going to bring you today because there's not really much going on. Because everyone's talking about the other big game which ended in disappointment as usual. But so let's have a look at this. So let's see if can we make this bigger. No. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Right. Okay, here we go. Basically what it is, it's the guy's base. He's had a look at all the bookmakers odds, aggregated them between all the different bookmakers, and basically given a team a ranking based on how the bookmakers think the league will finish. And I think that's what you see on the left hand side. So they reckon Fulham will win the league, West Brom, Sheffield United, that's who they think. Bournemouth, they think Bournemouth are going to finish fourth. Bournemouth were very good last season. They reckon, the bookmakers reckon we're going to finish 13th. So this is, according to the bookmakers, this will be next season's table. You're looking down at where the teams are, which Derby County, will they get points deduction? That will send them down into the relegation places. So yeah, so then he's taken this and then put a score. So he's put the score of the fixtures, how they run, and color coded each one. He must have a lot of time on his hands. There's no other football going on. So if it's red, you're playing one of the top 8 teams. So Middlesbrough, Nottingham Forest, Cardiff, blah 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 blah. If it's blue, you're playing one of these bottom 8 teams: Blackpool, Peterborough, Huddersfield, Derby, blah blah blah, etc. up to the 8th. And grey is just mid-table stuff. So the reason why he's doing this is you can see who's got an easy start, who's got a bad start, who's got a hard start, who's got an easy finish, who's got a hard finish. So that some team they might come out and play really, really well and think, oh my god, they're going to win the league. But no, because they've had all easy games. So if you look here, let's check a team that's got a few easy games. August. Look at Cardiff. So they've got grey, then 2 blues in a row. They're playing the 24th and 23rd rated teams. Then they're playing 13th and 15th rated teams. So that's a pretty easy opening month for them. So if Cardiff should be probably in the top 2, they should be after that. If they're not, then Cardiff have got a problem, and they might not be contenders for the league this season. But similarly, let's have a look. So Peterborough, their actual first opening month, August, isn't that bad. Look, they've got basically 6 pointers against teams who they're competing with to avoid relegation. They're playing Luton, then they're playing Derby, but then they've got Cardiff, then they play Preston, and then they've got West Brom. So 3 competitive games and 2 hard games. So Peterborough might be mid-table after the end of the first month. But so you think, oh, they're going to avoid relegation. But no, they've had an easy month because they've had 3 pardon me, they've had 3 blue games in that first opening month. And similarly, if they stink the fucking place out after the end of the first month, they got real problems because they ain't going to do shit in this league this season. And you can see some teams here have got completely red months. So what was it on? So November for Preston is just they're playing the 4th, the 7th, 6th, 8th, and the first team. And then December isn't that much better. So Preston probably going to have a little bit of dip in the middle of the season. Might get his manager the sack, having a hard run of games that type. So as you can see, let's have a look at Millwall. So our first month is a pretty mixed. The second month is a lot harder. Playing the 2nd, the 5th, and the 7th favourites. We've only got 2 blue teams in the first 2 months, and then the next 2 months we've only got 3 blue teams. We play most of the blue teams in April at the end of the season. In that April, we've got a run between the middle of March and the end of April of all blues and greys. So here's the thing: after that opening 2 months, after the opening month, if we're in a decent position, you can start believing, because this is. But similarly, if we're struggling, we could be struggling lower mid-table. I don't think we'd be lower than that, but we could be lower mid-table because there's some hard games there. And then it gets better in October, so then we should come up a bit. December's pretty decent for us. We've got 4 blue teams, 1 red team. So, but those opening 2 months for Mill, very hard, very, very hard. So if we're in the top 10 after the first month, or and even after the at the end of September, I mean, we're going to be doing very, very well to be in the top 10 after those that hard start that we've got. And also, having a hard start, it forces the players to step up and not take things for granted. Each game's going to be pretty difficult. I mean, you could argue they've got like 3 or 4 games out there, 9 there, the 10 that are pretty decent, easy, should be easier for us, but the rest are going to be hard and competitive. So it's up to the players to hit the ground running, and let's get into it. Like I said, if by the time we get to December, very, very easy month, very, very easy month in December. Again, a bit harder, I think. Is that February? Yeah, February. A bit harder for Millwall. We're playing the first 6 and the 3rd ranked teams, and then first 2 fixtures in March, a bit difficult. Then we've got this massive run of 8 games, which should be, we could just pile up the points if we need them. So all we've got to do is get to March and be probably top 8, and we could push way up into the playoff places, and we could be on such a run that it just pushes through into the playoffs. And who knows when, if you're building up the form, even though you're playing teams that ain't that good, if you're building up the form, and it's going to push you into the playoffs, it's going to give you that belief. So there you go. So this is from experimental361.com, fixture matrix. The difficulty of the games, how they pile up, are the fixtures, the fixture computer, has it fucked us? Has it done us a favour? It's given us a hard couple of the first 2 months, but it's given us a very, very, very easy run in to the end of the season in April 2021, or 2022, sorry. So April 2022, if we need the points, they're there for us to bag it up. And you could see, was it 1, 2, 3, so that's 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 points. So even if we're struggling, like 24 points is massive. Even if we're like in 16th middle of March 16th, we could get 20 points in a row and just push us straight up into the top 6. So don't worry if we're just languishing in mid-table at March, because the fixtures are there for us to do something at the end of the season. Believe it. So we're going to move on now to this one. This is also from Experimental 361. It is squad churn. Now, what is squad churn? So let's see what he says here. So, squad churn championship. Percentage of 2021 league minutes accumulated by players still at each club. Each segment is a player with size proportional to the minutes played last season. So the bigger the chunk, the more that player played for that team. In descending order, dark shaded segments indicate players still at the club. The light shaded segments are players who have left. So you can see so far, I think this is based on like release lists and stuff like that, that Millwall are the second in the rankings of clubs that have kept the most players from last season. 85.8% of our I think that's minutes played on the pitch. So players who remained with us from last season played 85.8% of last season's minutes. And we can see as we go through these various teams, Bristol City lost quite a lot of players. They've kept their top 3 playing players. Fulham struggling their first. So it's going clockwise. So it's going around the clock, so 12 and then 1 and 2 and then 3 and so on, going clockwise. So Fulham lost their first, third, fourth and fifth most playing players, and then they've lost another couple on the other side as well. So they've lost a massive amount of their actual first choice, first team players, and that's why they're down the bottom. But we just seen on the other thing, they're favourites according to the bookies. So how's that? How does that happen? Maybe it's a good thing if the players weren't good enough. They got rid of them. You can see that with Luton as well. Another team that let a lot of players go. They're second, they're fourth, they're fifth, and their 7th most played players have gone. Now you could argue, have they improved? Did they get better players in, or did they just get rid of these players and get other players in? Are they any better? You don't know. And there are some teams. So let's have a look at Hull. You can see they kept most of their first team. They let their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Their 8th. The players who played the 8th most minutes for them is gone. And then literally all the other players that they let go are bit part squad players, similar to Millwall. So Millwall, that 1, 2, 3 was the 5th most played player who's gone. I assume that is Ryan Woods. I believe that's Ryan Woods. And then we've let go a few fringe players, Williams, Ferguson. So you can see they didn't play much last season, and that are the light blue ones that we've let go. But you look at Barnsley, one of their players has gone. I think that's Alex Mowat, the second most played player. Birmingham kept most of their first choice 11, but their player that wasn't any good. They finished lower mid-table. Now they've got a new manager. They're signing players. So will they improve? They should improve, but they let go most of their bit part players, probably 10 squad players who just didn't do very much for them last season, and then they're signing decent players to replace them. So that should improve them. If you're keeping most of your squad together and then you put in a bit of quality add into it, that's a good thing. You can see here Forest, bit patchy. Blackpool, very patchy. But look at Derby. So Derby, literally all of their reserve team kind of players bit part players just gone, just decimated. Their most played players gone, and the 5th most played players gone. So, and I don't think they haven't signed a single person yet, I believe, because they're under a transfer embargo. So they will be struggling. But you can see here, so like squad churn. It's not very interesting on the face of it, but you need to know, like the thing with Birmingham, where they're bringing in players that appear to be better, and they've kept their first choice 11. So they bring in better quality players, let most of their reserve side bit part players go. That kind of thing. Huddersfield as well, kept most of their first team. Millwall, we've kept most of our team. Ryan Woods is gone, and we brought in George Saville. Now that is a massive improvement. I mean, even on the face of it, if George Saville plays as much as Ryan Woods did, if George Saville is our 5th most played player this season, we're in with a shout. No, that's no doubt about that. He's got the quality, so we have definitely improved. So we've got the spine, we've got the base, we've got the team. We need a striker. Is that Benicophobe? Can he do it? I was very happy about hearing about him, how hard he was running yesterday against Motherwell, trying to score, even though it was just a friendly. It's just a friendly, but there are very positive words being spoken about Benicophobe yesterday, which is good to hear. And yeah, so we are the championship team that has the 2nd most players from last season. We've kept the most players, and I think that's kind of good. You don't want too much chaos going on. You want some fresh faces coming, but you don't want to completely change it up, because then the whole vibe and ethos of the dressing room gets lost, and we don't want that. And that's part of the reason why they kept Alex Pearson for the off the field thing. He's not really going to be playing that much, but it's just for the atmosphere and the vibe behind the scenes. You want that to continue, and it looks very promising. It looks very, very promising. If Benicophobe adds to the goals and can actually be a striker that scores goals, we will be doing something this season. Pretty sure of that. But what? Who knows? So yeah, I just wanted to bring you that, because it's Stats Sunday. I don't know if you've seen. If you're a new subscriber, you didn't see my videos earlier in the year from when the season was playing. I do the match reports on the Saturday, and on the Sunday I do the stats from the game using whoscored.com and various stats websites, and that will be continuing in the forthcoming season. I enjoy making them, and we'll see how we get on. Hopefully the stats will look very, very good next season. A lot of goals, a lot of good football, especially on this new pitch. So let's crack on. And that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.